Hello everyone, I'm Paul and today we're solving problem 2043 Simple Bank System. This is medium and it might seem tricky because here we have a lot of text, but the solution is actually very simple. So let's start. We need to implement the bank class, and for this we are given an integer array balance. So let's say we're given this, and every element here represents the balance of some account. This is index 0, this is index 1, this is index 2. Now every account has a number, and that number is given by the current index plus 1. So this is account number 1, this is account number 2, this is account number 3. And we need to implement these three methods: transfer, deposit, and withdraw. Now, first, we need to check if a transaction is valid. If the account numbers that we are given are within the valid range, meaning they are smaller or equal to n, which is 3 in this case, well, the account numbers are valid. And we also need to check that the amount of money withdrawn or transferred is less than or equal to the balance of the account. So if any of this is not true, we just return false. For example, if we are given 4 as some account number, given that 4 is greater than n, which is 3, we just return false. Now, if we are trying to transfer from this account to this one, let's say 20, given that 20 is greater than the amount of money we have here, which is 10, we don't have enough money, so we return false. Now, if we are trying to transfer 5, for example, from account 1 to account 3, well, we subtract 5 from here, and we add 5 here, so the new balance here is 35, and we return true. So as you can see, this is pretty straightforward. We only need this array balance to keep track of every transaction, and before running every transaction, we are checking that the transaction is valid, and if it is, we run the transaction. So with this in mind, now let's go with the code. We are given this initially, so we can remove this part, and we start with the constructor, and we only care about this array balance. So we can store this in self.acc. This is for accounts, and this is equal to balance. Now for transfer, first we check that the account numbers are valid. So if account 1 is greater than the length of self.accounts, or account 2 is greater than the length of self.accounts, we just return false, meaning the transaction is not valid. And if self.account at account 1 minus 1, remember we need to subtract 1 for the corresponding index. If this is smaller than the amount of money that we need to transfer, we also return false. Else we do the transaction. So self.acc account 1 minus 1 minus equal money, and self.account account 2 minus 1 plus equal money. Finally, we return true. And here we do something very similar. We will always return true. Here the only problem could be with the account number. So if account is greater than the length of self.acc, we return false, and else we execute the transaction. So self.acc account minus 1 plus equal money. And for withdraw, we are checking that the account is valid. So if account is greater than length of self.acc, return false. and we are checking that we have enough money. So if self.acc at account -1 for the corresponding index is more than money, we return false. Else we execute the transaction, so self.acc account -1 equal money. And finally we return true for a valid transaction. So this is the entire code. Now let's submit this and see if it works. As you can see, this works and it's very efficient. Here time complexity will be big O of 1 for every transaction, and space complexity big O of n because of this array balance. So if you found this useful, please drop a like, subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.